Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are tackling something that I know causes a massive amount of anxiety. The listening exam. We're going to completely change how you look at it. Instead of seeing it as this overwhelming audio trap, we're going to treat it like a tactical, totally solvable puzzle. By the time we're done here, you're going to have a structured game plan to absolutely conquer that audio track.
I mean, be honest for a second. Have you ever completely lost your place during a listening exam? The audio is just blazing right by, details are flying everywhere, and suddenly you realize you have absolutely zero idea which question they're even on. Panic sets in, right? It's literally the most common fear, and it happens to everyone. But today, we're going to learn how to actively prevent that, and more importantly, how to recover when it does.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our game plan today is broken down into 4 steps. The first attempt, the golden prep time, predicting your answers, and finally, the checkpoint strategy.
Starting right off with step 1, the first attempt. This is all about getting a baseline feel.
So, before you go and memorize a single strategy, your absolute first move is just to dive right in. You need to do one random mock test completely blind. Why? Well, it's to feel the pace of the audio. If you don't know the rhythm they expect from you, you literally can't adapt. So, just hit play, completely ignore your score, and focus entirely on getting that baseline feeling for the speed.
Now, that initial blind test, it might feel totally chaotic. But as our source material reminds us, the more you practice, the easier it gets. The more familiar you become, the easier the IELTS eventually is. So that initial confusion you feel, it is totally normal. Building familiarity through repetition is really the foundation of our whole strategy here. You try once, you try twice, you try 10 times. Your skills will definitely sharpen.
Moving on to step 2, the golden prep time. How to use that pre-audio window.
Now, what's really interesting here is the stark contrast between different exams. Take the PTE exam. The recording just starts abruptly out of the blue. You get like 3 seconds and boom, you're in. But the IELTS exam, it actually gives you a preparation window. You hear a brief intro and then you get these precious few seconds before the recording begins. We need to shift your mindset right now from passively waiting for the audio to actively dominating those seconds.
So what exactly do you do with that golden prep time? Well, your eyes need to dart straight to the top of the exam paper. Focus immediately on the main title and the instructions.
In literally 2 seconds, you can arm yourself with incredibly vital info. First, lock in those word limits, like checking if it says no more than 2 words and/or a number. Second, check that main title. For instance, if the title is train information, that instantly primes your brain for public transport, right? You're already anticipating vocabulary about schedules and ticket prices before the audio even starts.
That brings us to step 3, predicting your answers using the skimming strategy.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how to skim. Take questions 11 and 12, for example. Obviously, we don't have time to read this thing like it's a novel, but we can quickly scan the text around the blanks. Question 11 says, local services depart from blank railway station.
Let's break down the logic here. If a service departs from a blank railway station, there's like a 95% chance that blank is a noun. Specifically, it's going to be the name of a place, like a city or the actual name of the station. By analyzing that tiny clue, we've just created a highly accurate prediction. When the audio finally plays, you aren't just blindly listening anymore. You are actively hunting for a proper noun. Let's look at another example. Jump down to question 15, under the type of ticket section. It says it's a special ticket for travel after a blank time and at weekends. So what could that be? If it's a special ticket for travel after a certain point, maybe it's a specific price? Or maybe it refers to night travel? See how you just start naturally wondering aloud to yourself to fill in those gaps?
The huge takeaway here is this. Always ask yourself about the grammatical function. Is it a noun? Is it an adjective? An action? Even if you have absolutely no idea what the exact answer is going to be, having a gut feeling for what the answer represents means half the battle is already won. You're basically setting a trap for the correct answer to fall right into. But what happens when the plan goes completely sideways? That's where step 4 comes in, the checkpoint strategy. This is your ultimate safety net.
So the crucial point is knowing what a checkpoint actually is. It's a specific, unmistakable question that you deliberately refer back to when you inevitably get lost during the audio track. Because, let's face it, they speak incredibly fast. A checkpoint is basically your anchor to find your way back.
Let's spot a perfect one right here. Look at question 13. It says, trains for London depart every blank
each day during the week. That little phrase, each day, is a vital reference point. In spoken audio, specific time references and frequencies, they tend to really stand out. That makes question 13 a fantastic checkpoint to mentally mark down.
But there are actually even better, truly unmistakable clues the exam loves to throw at you. I'm talking about spelled out proper names, like ALEX, or phone numbers like 435. The exam creators constantly use names or numbers as excuses to spell things out letter by letter. When you're skimming your questions and you see they're asking for a name or a phone number, highlight that immediately. That is your primary beacon.
Let's move to and see how this builds in a real scenario. Step 1, you lose track of the audio. Okay, don't panic. Step 2, you just keep your ears open and suddenly, boom, you hear an unmistakable clue, like a spelled-out street name. Step 3, you instantly skip those missed questions and jump straight to that checkpoint. Remember, the audio always goes in chronological order. You just cut your losses, reset, and save the rest of your score.
It's such a brilliant tactical way to stay in control. But remember, reading about a game plan and actually executing it are two very different things. Like our source says, you try once, you try twice, you try 10 times, you will sharpen these skills in time with practice. Applying this specific framework over and over again is the true secret to taking the stress out of this test.
So, we've broken down the timeline, we've unlocked the prep window, figured out how to predict answers grammatically, and built your checkpoint safety net. Which leaves me with just one final question for you. Are you ready to sit down, pull up a blind mock test today, and hunt down your very first checkpoint? Knowledge is power, for sure, but practice is the real key here. Get out there and start solving this puzzle. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and happy studying.